Okay. Thank you everyone to attend today's webinar. Today's webinar topic is Metaverse applications patent development. So this is my second of the series of the Metaverse patents. So some of the material that I'm going to do today is from the previous one. So in the previous one, I gave an overview of what the status of the current patent applications, and then how they relate to the like a metaverse from the fundamental technology like AR, XR devices, and also some of the like infrastructure, and also relate to some applications. So I'm going to cover some of the part that I did in before, and then and mostly because in the previous webinar I intended for the IP professionals. So I actually invited a lot of the current practicing in IP, like lawyers and some of the like IP professionals. But today, I actually intended for the rather than the IP professionals, than some of the like innovators, the inventors. So I look at the current like participant, and then some are IP professional and mostly in innovators and some business professionals. So I'm going to have that in mind in my presentation. Okay, so first I'm going to share my screen first. Okay, so can you see my screen well?
Yes, no problem.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, so I will start. I have a lot of things to prepare today. So basically, because I have 30 years experience in the high-tech industry. So most of the topic in relate to metaverse, I actually have experience, and I have also I have a innovator, and also like I'm a summer layer because I'm in addition to that, I'm a technology innovator. I'm also patent attorney. I attended law school and passed the New York State attorney law, and then I'm not registered as a New York attorney, and also registered in the USPTO as a patent attorney. So I know about the both sides. So usually I apply my own patent as an inventor and the patent attorney to prosecute in the USPTO. Also, I also like a business strategist, so I can how you can actually develop your business based on your technology innovation. So I want to share my experience, expertise for today's webinar topic. Okay, so I prepared today's agenda is 3 big title subsections. So the Metaverse introduction is, if you are from the like Metaverse business or technology innovation professionals, and most of this one will be, you already know about it, but I'm going to be in a balance, because I saw that some are in IP practitioners, so they may not familiar with these topics. So I'm going to go through quickly about what the Metaverse introduction, including all aspects of the Metaverse today. And then I'm going to talk about the fundamental building block for the Metaverse innovation. So they relate to patents. So I actually intensely search over all the aspect of the like a patent that relate to the Metaverse innovation. And then I select only a few that may be the like a fundamental building block for the Metaverse innovation. So I will show you that patents as an example of how they actually innovate, and then also how they can apply their patent application. And finally, the main topic that I'm going to show you, that what the like a patent application for the Metaverse application in diverse industry verticals actually already like a lot of the innovators actually apply their patent applications. So I'm going to show a few. So actually, I did in my last webinar, I showed some landscaping about like accounting of the statistics of the how many patents out there in like in the patent office by or the company by something like that. I'm not going to cover that. I'm going to be more like a deep dive into individual patents to help you to like what kind of like patents innovation related to innovation is covered in the state of in now, and then you can have some strategy that what the direction in the future that you should be focused on your metaverse innovation, and based on your innovation you can have your patent application. Okay, first metaverse introduction. So I'm not going to be I prepare some material, but I'm not going to go over detail, but I'm briefly talk about only the essential part. So the key point here is that the Gartner, practically 25% of the people will spend at least 1 hour per day in the metaverse by year 2026. It's only 4 years left. So let's just see what will happen. Yeah, is a big vision. Yeah, and then also see the metaverse economy. So created by the metaverse is as large as 13 trillion by year 2030. So it's a huge amount of the market. So let's just see what is going on. But the maybe the number is not the exact, but this is indicate that the is metaverse like innovation and the revolution and market is highly like recognized as a huge potential. So this is one thing that we have in mind. So innovation activities will going on to support this metaverse vision. And then others is the media cover you already know about in the Microsoft, the Meta, and Apple, and Google, and big techs in all the like major media's cover about the metaverse today. And this is one actually that I summarize all the aspects of the metaverse that I have in mind. So some are in the current status, some are in the future. So what you have in mind that will be that usually what you can define the metaverse is like a convergence of the physical world and virtual world. So two components, and then how they converse each world. For example, that in the virtual inside, that the real world will be joined your virtual world in an augmented way. So for example, here is one example that the real space, like real space can be integrated into your virtual space. For example, New York City, like portals, or some are related to like a land sale, virtual land sale, like a virtual reality in the platform. So the real entity will be joined. So in this case, a real, like for example, the buildings or land or space can be joined, or you and me join as an avatar. So the actual entity in the physical entity can join the virtual space. So augment your virtual space. So we call like a purely starting from the virtual. So everything is virtual to like migrate to like something that the real entity join. That's we call augmented virtuality. And then in the other side that we are living in the reality, in the physical real space. And then the virtual space can join. So this is well like augmented reality. So overlap of your like a physical space, like a physical world overlaid by your like a virtual space, so virtual entities coming. And also we have another migration is that the complete mirroring of virtual space and digital space, and that they interact in real time. So we know about like digital twins. And then also we know about in the mixed reality in between, in the hybrid between the virtual or like augmented virtual reality plus and augmented reality. So in some between, and there will be crossover between the like a real and virtual. And also in the future will be the fully converged, like for example, that the like in the like Matrix movie, that we cannot recognize whether it is a real or not. So that's maybe the ultimate goal, but a lot of people are just say that like Ready Player One, Matrix, and other like SF movies that can be like a future directions, but maybe we can up to there or not, but it'll take a lot of time. Yeah, this is one thing that we can sure that we can have a like a full version of the metaverse will require a lot of time, and then also require a lot of the innovation in technology. So you can think about like for example XR devices, they should be like innovate more, and also like a human computer integration, like the like for example your like a brain can be like directly linked to your device to like control, or like we need like a highly like sensing devices and sensing like a human like emotion and the human feelings to support. So we need to like a 5 sense technology, digital 5 sense technology should be like innovative more. And also like we want to join as avatar, and then avatar can be evolve more like a human like, and then and the AI is a fundamental role related to that. And also we need like a supporting infrastructure. So a supporting infrastructure means that the network, like 5G or 6G, or the some of the like sensing devices, IoT, and there was like computing over your virtual space and near space, we call spatial computing. So whatever you do in the real space will be converted to the virtual space through this spatial computing. And also we know about the digital twin technology will require. And also we need like a lot of the like, for example, cloud computing, other like data storage, all the digital data like technology will require. And also like, for example, if you want to like have your metaverse space as a completely like free from some central authorities, we call decentralization. And then we call a lot of people now interested in Web3, like internet. It will be required, and then decentralization technology like a blockchain should be support. And also we know that the fundamental building block for this space is how you actually construct your metaverse world. So metaverse world include like a space, and then that's give you the environment, and also like matters object to construct your space, and also time, and over the your lifetime or some other like lifetime. So three components will should be built up. So we need like a metaverse building engines we call. So we have many kind of the 3D modeling or something like that. I'm going to introduce in a pattern example to show you later. And then also like we have a lot of the application is enabled. For example, here is the one that this is one actually I summarized, and you can have a more, because I saw the hundreds out there like in a metaverse application, and mostly in this application is a purely virtual or the augmented virtuality, and also some augmented reality, and some mixed reality, and some digital twins. So majority is still in the purely virtual, but it will be able to like including more like a real component like augmented virtuality and augmented reality and mixed reality and virtual mirroring. So you will see this kind of application will keep going on, and then depending on the current status of the technology can support, there will be a lot of the application will be going on in every aspect of the industry wise. Okay, so one thing that you have in mind in something to understand in developing pattern is some economic system, because I mentioned that this metaverse will be create completely new economics, so creative values, economic values. So economic system component is like you and me, but in this case we join to metaverse space, so we join as avatar. And then we need to like how you actually identify yourself. Sometimes we can have a like authority or somehow you can actually your identity. In this case, blockchain technology can support you like a DID or something like that. And also we need like a currency system, right? Like in the physical space, we have a fiat currencies. And then in the metaverse space, we can know about like a digital currency, like a digital assets. And then also we can think about some other like a CBDC, central bank, like a currencies we may be needed. And also some of the like some in the decentralized way to your financial system we need it. And also like how you can represent your goods for the commerce. So NFT is one important point, and then also digital twin is another one. And also we need like some like a marketplace transactions for this kind of thing we call commerce system is needed. So this kind of thing actually in the combination can support you for your like metaverse application development. And then one thing that you have in mind is like NFT is very important because recently it's NFT based on Web3 is a fundamental building for this kind of the metaverse economic system. So NFT means the reference digitally numerous functions like a function, right, and obligation. So they represent in digitally the functions, right, and obligations. So for example, that they have a unique value. So you may know about like a digital art represented by the NFT you can sell and buy. And also, you know, that in the Roblox, in the game platform, you can create some game artifact and then you can sell it or buy it, something like this, or using the NFT. And then NFT has a right. So NFT has a like ownership right or an IP right in underwriting asset. So usually we know about what the ownership changing and what the like IP right is inherent to your NFT. And also like, for example, they can also reference the real property. So NFT can reference in the virtual asset and also real asset. So in this case, with the legal bound of this one will be somewhat different from the whether they're representing the legal as some of the virtual digital asset or it is a physical asset. And then also you should be know that they are under some scrutiny of the government regulation if they define by some category, you know, that the stocks we call securities regulated by the government, and then whether there is like a commodity it will regulate it. So depending on the NFT characteristics, they are bound by some regulation. So you should know about in the development. So this is one example that you have like a virtual space. I'm going to show you that in how you actually construct this metaverse using my pattern example later. But you can see that all the like aspect of the real life commerce system. Here is a real life commerce system can be happening in the virtual. So the currently they are mostly in happening is a virtual space. So they are mostly in happening in the virtual space, but in the future can be connected through your physical space. So this metaverse economic system will be complete of the inclusion of the like a virtual commerce and then your space commerce will be joined in the future. And then another thing that when you actually develop for your metaverse, whether it's a metaverse product or metaverse service, platform, whatever, you should know about that what the value created, where the value created in the metaverse actually is the user experience. So metaverse user experience is the key actually create the value, economic value. So you should know about that what the options you have to some kind of metaverse user experiences. So for example, immersive reality experience, yeah, definitely we know about like access device, AR, VR, MR, something like that. We already know about it. And then 3D computing, right? For example, 3D space, build-ups, 360 views, and spatial audio, and haptics, and web AR, all kind of like this kind of technology can enable this immersive reality experience and the 3D experience. And also like, for example, like enhanced emotion, like a fantasy sensation, something like that experience can be happen. and also like a enhanced engagement experience. So we know about for example, the a lot of the like metaverse is evolved from the like a game platform. So we know about the gamification of the like they influencing your behavior, so they can make you engage your engagement experience, and or like active realistic interaction, and then so you have a actively integrate through your avatar or the other like avatar like robotic system, or they will integrate like the human and their surrogate robot and then their digital robot with your avatar will be, yeah, interplay, and then they will provide the interaction. And then also I mentioned about like mirroring. So in this case, you have a like a communication between the real space and virtual space. So in the future, there will be crossover, whether you have in the virtual space and the real space, there will be crossover, and then they will be like a mingle together to you provide like a completely crossover like experience. And then also like a co-creation experience means that for example, you can join in with other people and then create new things through this metaverse platform. And also like for some of the like monetization experience through the like NFT or other means of the monetization. And then, yeah, definitely we have like a different type of the augmented network effect, massive sharing experience required. And especially that the further your providing experience get the attention from like your users, and then so that actually the user engage more, and then through that actually that they can create a value. It should be like you should provide the experience is customized and personalized, and then with like a storytelling and many other like means to like providing the personalized and customized experience like a storytelling, including some other like educationally or entertainment or some other like functions you can include in your development. Okay, this is one example that in like recently a lot of the application is to in the direction of the like a retail shop or the retail shopping mall or the some other like a retail stores. So in this case, you should be designed that what kind of experience you should want to provide to the customers to visit your metaverse like a shopping space. And then you should be think about like what kind of technology you can have it, like for example you provide a 3D immersive virtual world. The customer ever interact in the real time and then in every day, and then with the digital environments for their own avatars. So and then it provide for the like for example the store manager can pre-test product before actually producing it and perform smart inventory shipping product in like this. So this is one I'm going to give you the exactly the cover this application by patterns. So I will show you the all the things actually that this already covered some pattern applications. So you should have in mind that based on this where you should go. So this is one particularly interesting. It's a bit. I'm also a developer, so I develop a lot of the software code for big data, AI, blockchain, and IoT, and others. So recently, I was like developed some like a pattern for the metaverse applications. But a lot of the innovators actually don't care about what the pattern actually covers. And then this aspect is very important because that's what I experienced over my lifetime, that there is out there some entities actually the deliberately accumulate pattern, and then they waiting for the market growth, and then that happen actually that they ask you the tax, ask you to charge because they have ownership and you infringe it, and then they will ask you pay money for the licensing or some lump sum money, whatever. And then I also experienced in intensively, especially for even the 10 years ago, I was most of my business at the time was like a pattern strategy and then related to smartphones. So there was a lot of the like the entities actually the buy patterns related to smartphone, especially for the like LTE communication, and then they sue the like companies, and then they got the money. So we call at the time was the patent trolls. And then because I know about all the entities and then some of the like key figures in the space. So for example, there is funny thing that I look at my this space, and then I found that still these guys are still here. And then do you know that what they're doing is actually that they starting from the like a fundamental building blocks. So so their strategy is to that I describe everything. You put it in a like 100-page manuscript in the put everything in their pattern application. And then first the cream just one cream, right? And then because he put everything in there, right? And then in over the time you look at the market develop and what the product or service coming out, and then they including more their cream to like cover this like a market and service or something that to make this product service infringe their patent. And then I saw several like guys I know, but I'm not personally don't know about them. I'm maybe I know someone, but I found that their name in this metaverse space, and I found they're doing the same thing. And then some entities actually got a lot of fund. We usually the like they call innovation fund, but actually they hedge fund or something like that, and the builder fund and developing a lot of pattern. And then I'm in Boston based, and then I saw the several entities in Boston, and also some of the guys in Silicon Valley. Some are also Israel, also another entity, and you should be careful about is yeah you if you are the startup, you don't have any maybe something very easy about the developing your own like product service or something like that. You have in mind that it depends on whether you're successful, and they will come over and then they will follow you and then they will charge you. So you should know about it. Okay, so there is a recently there are a lot of patent developed booms out there. So for example, the McDonald's and L'Oreal and some of the like for example Tencent or some other like CVS and Facebook patents. And actually I look at everything and then mold them. So there are out there already a lot of patents that exist and then cover maybe some of them, maybe almost over your feature of your metaverse service product. And this is one example that how you can actually get the insight from the pattern is actually that you can, if you look at some big company, like for example, the Meta, and then you can figure out what the metaverse direction of their like horizon, their metaverse platform will go, and what their business will go. It's something like that. So whether it's a hardware or software system platform, if you look at the pattern space, and then you can find out where they're going. So some of the feature maybe not actually included in the actual product or service, but you can have it how the internally some specific entity are looking at it, and then what like their internal innovators R&D engineers are looking at it, and then what kind of thing actually they can be included as an option or what are the main. So for example, in the Apple Metaverse XR device, you can see through this one that what kind of like a shape and features, and then what kind of technology will be there. And then you can see the like what kind of display or the control or the like capability you can look at it. So this is one example that the pattern intelligence have you that, for example, that they can know about your competitors, like a roadmap or direction, and what will be the product and service strategy through this pattern analysis. Okay, so I'm going to explain that everything I have in the previous presentation will be supported by the pattern application. So I will show you some example that I just only select a few, but my database have hundreds of the related pattern like this. Okay, so first is like 3D is all about, like the difference between the previous web and then the metaverse world is 3D space. So 3D space is very, very important for the metaverse. So this is fundamental building block. So first of all, if you want to develop something, then you should start from like how you can actually develop in this 3D space, right? So one key technology we call 3D rendering. So 3D rendering in the creation of a metaverse space. So digital scene, right? You maybe know about the Horizon, like a metaverse platform, the social networking or remote meeting or something like that. You need a scene, right? It is like it's a meeting room or conference room, or is a shopping mall, something like that. You need to build up the 3D scene. And then this is a 3D rendering is enabled to create this kind of the metaverse space. And then if you have so 3D rendering and it provides 3D is actually that you can look at it traditional ways, looking at your like computer as a monitor. But if you have a like XR device, it will be give you more reality. And that's, yeah, definitely. But additional things you need. But actually so 3D rendering create a link between reality and virtuality, and enhance people's sense of immersive, so we immersive to the metaverse space. So this is like a very essential part of this metaverse application development. So you should be looking at what kind of things can be available in the future, and so that actually that you can think about when you construe your like innovation and then patterns based on the innovation. You should be think about this kind of what kind of variable 3D rendering methods you can develop. So this is one example from the Samsung Electronics that what they think about is usually that when you do some invention that this is well on through in the IP practitioners, because there are many textbooks wherever that when you construe something and then developing your claim, and then what you're doing, for example, like a disclosure, inventor disclosure. Usually the whenever I for example I build up my patent application, first of all I'm doing is invention disclosure. I'm writing down that first. Also I ask to the other people that they want to like a draft based on their innovation, and then I ask them to like provide the invention disclosure. And the invention disclosure, I'm asking about what problem do you want to solve? Because in the market, the innovation is for what? Is they either like they solve the like relieve the like a pain point, a lot of difficulties users have, or like a job to be done, right? What kind of job to be done, right? And what is needed, right? So actually that kind of thing we have a we call problem, and then providing the solution is to your invention. So we IP protectioners professionals say like inventive departure. So in the solution, actually the even the same problem, your solution should be differentiated, because if there is already exist like a solution, it will be prior. So you cannot have your own patents. So you should think about like for example, you got like a spot problem, and then you should will know about what the available solution for that problem, and then do you have any better way to do, and then differentiate it from the previous one. That's the solution. So in this case, actually, they got the like a problem in the effectiveness, like effectiveness sample point, and then quickly perform. So efficiency and the effectiveness, and then also like a low complexity, the simple way, and the quality. So four aspects as you can consider as a free parameter. And then you can think about that what the current status of for these free parameters, and then what you can do based on your experience and knowledge, right? So for example, in Samsung, what they do was actually that they use deep learning, so AI. So they actually the simulation of various rendering conditions through this rendering. So actually they like for example, to make this some rendering data, and then train your deep learning, and then they will perform, and then they will be know about what kind of the task you can have in a like automatic way. So they can solve several things, like for example the effectiveness, and then quality problem and quality problem. And then that's one actually look at it. So still I think that there are still a lot of the availability to you looking at this space, and then got the current problem, and then what kind of solution you can provide. It's one way to actually that you get a new invention. Okay, so another thing is because now most of our website in 2D, right? Because we are in a 2D internet space, so we are pretty much familiar whether you see in everything is nearly 2D. So, but I saw you that the 3D is the most fundamental building block for your metaverse. The metaverse space should be give you some more experience based on this 3D. So actually, there is some place actually that you can have a new invention is to have this kind of like how you actually convert your legacy 2D system to 3D, right? So for example, this is one example that they look at this problem, right? So this one actually that they I look at their like website, and they actually develop their own service based on this. So if you look at this company, and actually their actual product based on this pattern application. So this is one example that once you have a like a new idea, and then you have a pattern, and then later you implement as a product service. So when the like a pattern actually that you can have information about what the product service will looks like in the future. So that's why it's if you look at the new innovation and looking at the pattern is really important to give you the like insight about your future direction. So so for example, that this they look at the like web page originally designed to represent the 3D real world. So they look at the originally they developed for the 3D real world, but generally laid out in the region of the 2D page because of the technology limitations. So they look at the how the like fundamental building block for this one in 2D, and then what kind of like parameters or the variables they can like make something differently to leverage the 3D space. So I'm not specifically that you have an in-depth knowledge about this technology, but what they did was like document object model is the programming API for HTML documents. So it you can like have a like based on this like extracted DOM element and from the legacy website and press DOM element into 3D via immersive space. So they found a way. Like for example, they want to. The problem was you want to have a lot of the legacy website, and then you want to convert to 3D. And then in the website, actually, they look at the expertise like a web development or the web technology, and they look at it what they can have an option to make this stuff in the 3D, and then they found the way to solve this problem. So this is one way actually. If you're looking at some current states of the web technology in 2D, and then you can think about how you can convert to 3D. This will be the same idea that the current web 2 based on internet website. If you want to like migrate to like a 3D, also if you want to migrate to web 3 completely decentralized, and then you can think about what will make the difference, and how you can actually develop the new component, the function, or new ways, whatever that can create a new invention, right? So this is another thing that you can have some strategy where you start. Okay, so metaverse experience is also like very, very important, right? So not only the space, also the component object construe that space, right? We call material. So I mentioned that like three components of the world is space, matter, time, right? So matter is construe your space to construe your world. So they should fill up to make an environment, and give you like a building structures and animals or other things should be in the metaverse space. So you need to like convert like some of the like for example in the 2D image in usually the most of the like your image video in 2D, and how you convert in the 3D will be very important. So they look at the like needs, right? What the current needs is to generation of 3D representation, and then what the problem, they want to be accurate, timely, and computationally efficient. So they have 3 parameters that actually that they have option to improve more. So you're looking at the improve, add, or something, create new, and find out alternative ways. So there are many ways actually the changing these variables, and then there was like option, like for example to make this one is like a trained machine learning model to generate automatic 3D reconstruction. So this is one option that they found out. So you can have a lot of the other options. So starting from the current status, and then looking at the what things you can develop further, and go direction, and then make your invention, and then apply patterns based on that. So this is another strategy you can have it. And the interaction is very important, right? Because the interactive interaction. So once you build up space, and then build up material, right? And then what are the things? You, users, customers, right? Or into the metaverse space. And then what you should do? Provide the experience, right? Give the service experience, whatever, to give them, and then they will create the value through this experience. So experience design is very important. And then for the experience, actually, the most important factor is the multisensory. For example, visual, auditory, like a smell, tasting, and touch. This kind of the like sensory information should be combined with the 3D visualization, so that actually they provide like human object interactions, and then also they can give you like an experience 3D space in the like a real life experience. So this is one you should have in mind. So once build a space, once build the materials, and then give your interaction. So this is one example that how actually this kind of 3D technology to integrate the visualization to making the human and objects. And then this is not yet commonplace. So they're looking at how actually they integrate. So this is somewhat some difficulty in that, because to provide the sensory, actually, you need to like a sensing of the sensory device, like for example, your movement is like if your smartphone have a sensor can detect it, and otherwise you need to like for example, smartwatches have some sensor, but you need some extra device, wearable device, to capture this kind of biological sensor. And some of the image capture is easy because the smartphone is a good candidate. So another thing is a 3D virtual imaginary hologram. So but hologram is not fully developed yet. So this innovation is in implementation. It will be somewhat different. But you should have in mind that someone not in the professional IP in space, actually they confuse about whether if you want to like apply your pattern, actually you need to build up. No, it's not, because we call like for example, you may know about the thought experience, and then what is required in the pattern is enablement. So enablement means that the potential of implementation, but it does not require that you actually build up, you actually implement your whatever your technology innovation to have a pattern application. So you, without actually the build up, that's why I mentioned before that there are a lot of the entities actually even not implementing actual like a product service, that actually they have their like a pattern and they apply and get the pattern. And then in the future, the actual information can infringe, and then they charge you. So this is one thing that even without actually build or implement your product service, actually you can apply pattern, you can develop patterns. So usually I also did a lot of experience doing that without actually developing and something that is like a conclusive or something that physical. So this technology is one thing that actually in the future direction that actually was not built up, but it has a potential to do that. So this kind of enablement is, especially for the patent examiners, is very difficult to prove that is that they don't have time to whether actually your implementation can be your invention can be implemented or not. So in the general is examiners have a background in science and engineering. So based on the experience, that they can just think about that. Oh, okay. So based on this the description is and then the current access of technology supported, whether it's actually implemented or not, but it's enabled, right? So you can have a patent without actual implementation. This is one tip you have in mind. Okay, so based on this fundamental building block, let's see that how you can have what kind of pattern application available, and then what kind of like a patterns for the metaverse application actually that you have it, and then looking at the like a strategy, what other people did, and then looking at your direction or service or business, and then you can have some options as well. You can have like a new way to develop something related to yours. And then you can have a pattern, right? So this is one thing that this is NFT. Actually, the NFT is a very, very important topic recently for the Web3 digital asset. So I'm going to have my webinar 2 weeks later is about to cover this NFT. But this NFT, for example, NFT is referring to digital goods asset, right? So this is like for example, they can be referenced a physical asset or the virtual asset, right? So NFT allows you create or purchase digital fashion goods, for example, clothing, for example, Nike, right? Clothing, shoes, and hat, watch, jewelry, like a luxury device, and then whatever you have from sellers. So digital goods can be used to store exchange by the user. So you have like a physical good and the represent virtual goods, and then this virtual goods asset will be represented by the NFT. So based on this, actually, you can secure your transaction because NFT is based on your blockchain, mostly the Ethereum-based blockchain, so it is secure. And then we'll be give you the ownership proof, and also they can reference some value of your like asset. So this is a look at the Nike. This is a good example that you can have a hint to how actually apply this NFT for your metaverse application, because they can represent any kind of the asset, right? It's a physical or digital. So the application is unlimited. So in this case, what they want to do is based on their business, right? So they have like, for example, there is a limited edition of their shoes or something like that, or even the Nike brand is very expensive compared to, like, for example, there are a lot of the counterfeit or the Nike, and then so it's much cheaper, right? So they want to like protect their genuine Nike brand. And then also they provide like, for example, for example, if they develop based on this Nike brand, their NFT virtual goods, and then that because a lot of people copy, and then value will be decreased. So how actually to protect like the counterfeit, or so how you protect your value. So that's the one they want to look at it. So they provide like, for example, whenever you buy the genuine the product, right? And then they issue corresponding digital goods with unique physical good ID, and also like a product owner ID. So actually the using the well-known like ERC 721 or the ERC 1155. So 721 is for the NFT, and then 155 is NFT and other, like, for example, game artifact or whatever. So they can use this like a standard, or you can use your own. And then they developing this kind of solve the problem, like protect from your like to prove you're genuine, and also like it can protect like whether they duplicate your digital like goods. So this is one example, but you can have a lot of the other application depending on your problem, application, and business. Okay, so this is one example that in the Walmart patent application. that actually you can see that they provide like 3D virtual product, apparel, shoes, and then your avatar will join in the shopping. And then there are I look at the like what might be the related pattern, and then there are a bunch you can have application that already filled up. I found that this is a really crowded space. I found 100 patterns actually cover this space. For example, that I found that if you go to shopping more in the virtual or physical, right, what you want to do, right? They want to guide you that where you can find your favorite one or you need one, right? So they find out your profile, and then they provide like personalized assistant, and I found a bunch of patterns that are out there. Also, what you want to do, you want to like fit, right? You want to like try whether your shoes, your clothes fit into your body. So actually, there are a lot of the pattern application actually cover the space how you can actually like digitally fit, and then also like there are a bunch of the application actually the how you actually represent your body virtually. So there are many technologies available to is covered by pattern application that also the space. Also, you if you have a like a cosmetic, and then you want to try, so there is like smart meters, and you can look at it through the smart meters. And I found a bunch of the application actually you have a real life in the metaverse shopping mall, and then also shopping space, whatever in the retail. And then you can think about based on that so how you can develop your fundamental building or your metaverse world space. So in this case, this metaverse world is a shopping space. So you need like environment, space, and then 3D space plus material like a shop and clothes, material, you and then after that, actually you can think about is there any ways to have a different way to providing this environment, different way to provide like your setting, and also how they actually interact, right? And then what kind of new service can be available. That's one actually the have some inventive idea that you can have your traction. This is another one actually the very popular is automotive like a showroom. So actually you can see for example the Volvo car provided. So they provide like a deer image showroom. Is like for example this is a deer digital twin. So they are the mirroring of your actual showroom, or is completely like a virtual. So this kind of like a showroom in the virtual space, and nothing to do with the physical space, and then they can give you a lot of the freedom. And also they can be like you build it actual like a showroom, but it will be give you some augmented reality to have a more enhanced experience through the overlay of the virtual space. So this is another example that looking at the application and looking at the space and looking at the application and then looking at the technology, and then you can think about what available that technology application, then you can like integrate or develop your own like a new invention based on this. Okay, this is another one. Your touring is very important application. So the tour of the space is one good example. Like for example, you have a metaverse like space, and how we actually the tour the space looks like you are immersive and you experience in the real life, and then also like interaction in the remotely, and how you actually the people's tour together. And then also in the future, maybe after the COVID-19, that it will be more accelerated, like this kind of the combination of the virtual and the real time touring will be joined, and then you can enjoy a lot of the different experience. So this is one example. Then you can look at what kind of technology, for example, is a holographic the representation or other ways to actually the representing you and through the avatar and the 3D space. And then based on like whether it's a museum or it's an art gallery, or it's purely the street or the scenic, it depending on your theme, and you can develop in your own application. And this is another like recently that there are a lot of like metaverse meeting platform. Actually, I experienced several for myself, and I went through my avatar, and actually I have a dance and speak. I was a speaker of some recent Metaverse like a conference, and then I went to there through my avatar, and then I give my talk. And also like you can communicate with, you can have an interact like a networking, like in the actual space. And then also they provide a remote conferencing, and then looks like you are in hand in hand, like you are in side by side, even if you are in the remote. So there are a lot of the like a different type of the meeting frames from the available. And then also we look at what the current status, and then the most important technology is like a presence, you're like a sense of a presence. So how actually to make it actually you feel like you are in the space, right? And then what kind of application actually you can provide, you think about that it, and then there will be the good opportunity to have your own new way to have an invention in this space. And this is another one in the industrial application, like for example, in the like a in the metaverse factory, smart factory, actually you can build up your own factory in the space, in the metaverse space, and everything will be virtual. And then, for example, engineers or the technicians will join us through their XR device or the other ways, and then actually they can experiment in the virtual space whether your production process will be efficient, effective, or less consume energy or whatever. So actually you can do everything in the virtual space, and then based on this virtual space experience, and that can actually reflect to whatever, then you can improve your process, what kind of the quality of product you can do in the real space. So they can be like a complete like a interaction between the virtual space and real space for this mirroring space like. So this is another one. Actually, there are maybe a bunch of the new application you can have it, because there are different type of the like a manufacturing, different type of the process, different type of the like a product you want to have it. So based on this kind of fundamental thing, and then you can have idea that, well, you can have a new way to developing your own invention. Okay, so I did everything. So 2 minutes later, I will stop my sharing. So okay, so I look at one. So if you have any question, then you can. If you have any question, just let me know. So I just look at the something you wrote in the chat. Yeah, I think that you can talk, right? Because what software is used to develop virtual reality? Because virtual reality means many things, but for example, that if you want to purely like a software, not depending on the virtual reality devices, and then there are many like a virtual reality like a software, like for example, Dear Engine type of the like a game platform, you can develop your virtual space. And then there are many other bunch of the like a virtual reality like developed software available. How to overcome abstract idea rejection by a patent examiner. So this isn't specific in the drafting and the patent application. This is called 101 problem. So 101 problem, maybe you don't need to know, because if you are not the patent practice, the 101 is not just for the metaverse, but everything, that especially for the software patents. So 101 means that there was a Supreme Court, there was a decision they call Alice decision that if they cannot be a patent, if there's an abstract idea. So abstract idea means many things. So there are something that you categorize as abstract idea, but usually when that's a legal matter, but actually what happened in the practice is that that's also I experienced several times. And when you think about it, that you are the inventor or innovator, technology guy, right? Like me, and I'm 100% sure that this is not abstract idea because I already developed my code, working code. This is my also experience. I already have working code implemented, but when you apply based on that working code and already implemented, and actually the examiner don't know about whether it's implemented or not. Only their concern is in the claim, so whether it looks like an abstract idea, then give you the rejection. So this is common practice, right? So that's the limitation of the current USPDR examination system, not just for the USPDR in all other country, but it depending on the quality of the examiner. For example, South Korea, I'm originally from South Korea. Most of the South Korean examiners are PhD, right? Because when I got my PhD and then I went to South Korea, there was a lot of the US Korean patent officer tried to hire the newly coming out PhD, right? So that actually they at least they have some experience in R&D, their own patent applications. So someone have a higher level, but it depending on your also art, right? For example, that the biochemical, still even in the United States, they prefer maybe not the examiner, but the patent lawyers mostly. For example, I attended my law school in Suffolk University in Boston City. I was already have an industry experience. I have already got my PhD, and then when I attended my first class in the patent, like for example, there was a first year was when I attended was a patent law is 101 type lecture. It was like me, they work in the daytime, usually in the industry, mostly in the law firm, as they call like a patent like a specialist, they call, or some patent scientist or whatever. And then they already got the PhD, right? For example, in Boston, we have a very strong in technology, for example, in the Harvard and MIT and other Boston University, all other the university produce the PhD, and then they think about that they want a different way of the living, something like that, and then they suddenly they apply to the local law firm, and then they feel that without actually lawyer, they can be a patent attorney. They're just a patent agent, so they attend like me, and most of them are PhD, so they have a very high quality. So they're looking at the actual thing, but unfortunately, that in the US examiners are not that. They are most requires is undergrad in science and technology, even through the whole, maybe in the 10 years, the senior examiners, but their experience is prosecution, not the technology innovation. So they cannot follow all the innovations. So they cannot looking at the detailed level of the innovation like you, right? So this is the thing, because I know I'm a patent attorney, also inventor, and then I 100% sure that my patent application is based on is actually working software, but they reject it, right? Even I have a patent attorney, and also very careful about how we actually claim. For example, the one way actually the making is making something like a physical things, like for example, in the drafting that the purely method will be rejected. So you include this one, it will be like a process by the like a special computer, like A6 or the special type of computer for learning this kind of software. You include everything, even with that, depending on the examiner, you will get the rejection. But unless there are two types actually that one is actually without any rejection is actually the drafting, it was wrong, means that he drafted his claim as like a technical specification is very long and very specific. Actually, the no right, actually, so you can patent claim is a right, is like a right of ownership. You can be like for example, the ownership of your land, right? Because how big, right? It's matter to the examiner because you take over a lot of the area. Other people cannot take this area. So the examiners they are public, so they want to be making sure that you claim right exactly right to what you have. So they try to do is make bound your usually usually the like me or other people are educated like to make broad claim, but examiners want to reduce your like a bound. So there is something in the debate and then something negotiation where actually the depending on prior art or something like that. So if you make very detailed, then examiner will like it because you didn't actually get any claim. Well, other thing is that you make very broad claim, and then whether it's abstract or not, will be rejected first, right? So you should be thinking about where you have it have in mind, right? And then also try to think about whether your innovation to appeal that is innovative, not abstract, innovative, and contribute to your technology innovation. So this is one factor that whenever I have a rejection, for example, that recently I filed 10 patents, and then I got like in the first time allowance was about 50% because I really care about the claim drafting because I'm not giving my service to the fee. I only use my expertise developing my own business or my business partners patterns. So my way to drafting is somewhat different because I don't care about the cost. I only care about the quality. So that's why mine is somewhat different. But if you have a traditional regular like a service from your like agencies or the law firm, and then the cost will be the most significant part, and then the time cost is a matter. So you should be concerned about some quality or depending on the cost of something like that. But otherwise also I mentioned that 50% was rejected. And then I saw that it's absurd because, for example, one patent actually, we actually have a software, but the continuously reject, right? Because he provide a prior actually the nothing to do with my invention, but the examiner doesn't care about whether it's in reality they cover your invention or not. They only concern is the text, the word in there, whether they cross match to yours, whether it's a different art or not, they don't care about it. So what you need to is very careful about the drafting. So make sure that in the right bound, and then also like have something that is not purely method. So have something is feeling give you this is kind of like the system approach system or implementing the system. So it's not purely software, completely abstract type like method. And another thing is to provide give you something that's special innovation, like a special computing or special ways to unique to you. The examiner like that because they usually give you something that give it allowance. That's usually in the first rejection I provide the information that actually this is a really innovative why. And then there is the court like a case that actually if you provide actually that you can overcome this rejection. So this is one tip, but this is one actually the very in the deep level. Okay. So is there any question? Oh, what is this question?
Alex, I'm wanting to know if the UX user experience that you talked about is an abstract idea.
No. The abstract idea that I mentioned is that for example, there are many criteria, but abstract idea means that it's like do not provide any like inventive departure. There's something that actually very unique to you, and then it can be like implemented is like actual product or service or something like that. So experience experience itself is like a abstract, right? But extract implemented in like for example device and service, and then in the sum of the process to produce the experience, and then the process is for example, good example is based on your XR device, right? And then this is not the abstract idea. So that I mentioned that how actually to implement, right? So you experience how you implement, right? It based on your XR device or some specific purpose of the like a computing, and then software ways actually to provide some different way to service. Then it will be like provide like experience, but it's experience technology that providing you experience, right? So experience itself is abstract, but providing experience through technology is not abstract.
So are you saying that the UX is not a mental process?
No, UX is a mental process just itself, right? But the realization UX is through technology. What you mean by the like how you can provide the UX? Technology. You need technology, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, so you can think about how to deliver your experience, right? Because there are many kind of the abstract, but it cannot be expressed anymore if they include how you deliver your abstract ideas through your technology, right? Okay, so I'm not sure about the skincare industry in this specifically, and then I'm a U.S. patent attorney, so I'm only looking at the U.S. patent. Yeah, I can read the South Korean patent, but particularly I'm without any specific reason I'm looking at the South Korean patents, and then skincare popular in South Korea does not mean that there is like a innovation and patent application in skincare. So. Well, one thing that actually I have something is that you can, for example, in the virtual shop experience, right? There's something that you can have like for example the combined with the textile, right? If a touch experience virtually, and then you can think about like based on your like physical like your skincare based on like a virtual space touching, and then you can look at the what the like a current state of your skin has care status, and then also through the like AI mirroring that you can find out whether there is any some symptoms, and then also like for example in the cosmetic ways actually the based on your skincare like a status they provide suggest something that like a skincare like a caring the cosmetics or something like this. So you can think about many things, but I don't know about the specifically because I didn't actually specifically looking at the Korean pattern about that. Oh, my email address you. Okay, my email address is so geunhole@gmail.com. Oh, it's one G. So you can reach me. Okay, so if there is no further question, then I'm going to close my today's webinar. Okay, no more question. Okay, so thank you for attending for today's webinar. I hope this webinar is helpful to you. So if you have any question, and particularly that I mentioned that I'm not the patent practitioner to provide a service based on fee, but if you want to be like a business partnership with me, and then care about the like patent quality, and then want to like for example that you want to like build up your business based on innovation based on the patent application, that I can help you definitely. I have extensive experience in this space. So just contact me and then let's talk about it. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for attending.